Sikole ngambululu with whatever we do. Jioni safu nola with whatever we do. Hale yide munyu skula nyepamne ne kudlukula nyepangiragala gena nyepamne ne kudlukula ibuloke nongoto ni beti sola ibuloke dato ni betoto
Bigi Congo.
Lami te jibe norin te nyamen lamin.
Kabana wulo
kono nyinta mo lamin.
Pabilenki.
Muna ngata afamole.
Haina.
Ngata. Ngoto le. Fabrama.
Baba nyole.
No ngoto le Fabrama.
Na mu jumara kan kuma diten.
Fabrama.
Jumara mu.
Ndele bare muso.
Nunda mana. Jamani mbere.
Lindo ko.
Jamani.
Bari ngoto man kontande.
Bari jamani bana na mu man kontan.
Ngoto minga kan ngalamin de fon filitala. Lamin jibe nori nyaala.
Lamin ire siran sama ne benki. Yala so tol sayni no ko mo lakuma mo.
Ngoto.
Nam.
Iterinte yalo ne lamin hakkilo diata bake karamongoto. Anu sainteng ministry ko di ngole si suko na amake ko do holi
sibitu
bagona ni
ala ni ko de namo balo
ala na ko na karta bulo be dam ala ni je
ngodo
nam
ngodo mon kontan fere
jamani mu nekata
idika lamin ki wulo ko no nyinta mon ko do fete malo lamin nyanta sila la be la mo kala karango
jamani karamol be sorande ne ko fasita wulo ko nako
karamol ma ko ni ko karamol sorande amake ko holiday lem ngodo dini wonyanta sila la ala karango la mo yamen kamen fue man kontan anda mande
alla min ko courant adanda alla ko bolando la jankara mol soranda doro kabe ko ndol fanena karamol soranja karamol soran lamin adara lo ni no la amanta ra fena sokon ala munekela
lamin ite fede malo ko le sinol be ke kar radio to
nga fine
e ko nyani mo lamin ya mo na fonye
be kabin mina kan tambita nteri maning Fatu ndambite la sukol ala dinngol bebe siri be la moyka
faru danso am fana tambira jele ni subala la ngaje dinngol be jet talanta nen kili waro e be seri jelet
sa lamin fanante ku kili wo ke no la ba lamin bita ka wulo ko no nyin taymo alami
amandara fenela
ite dine ko ni man siri karu la radio to e balon na
muneka ke afonde ma nyaara ni alon
kelentel jikot
afonde ma munebe ke
ite balon to be jikirite ni man karam be ku kele yaaje nata karana mbasa malaya ay taride
par ñarande kombo courant ho findira kombo ide nara yede ni sonka bay ko lamin ma ñata la wulo ko karam mo be so dafa
wala nati bawo ngalle ni lamin kuntal kombo courant o ka fa me kombo courant asototal wala kinay ko esi suwo kono bari ni ko esi suwo kono be karangol dike la radio lin telel to hani tele masoto to nyaay man tele soto la bongo be radio be bulan koto batiri sanga ay si ay alamo
sa do kala nyaadi ado kala nyaadi
kamun ke nyaadi
radio ado la mo la be mona falaje
ibe la karandirol kala jele
ti talle be radio ko men ka karandirol
ile subject ro baby jele baby jele
wala nan ka cojo mo fa dan so wala ni wol de be ikadum bu ko de kala ma
asototal de
la min mala be karawala de
bari laftalal ideal on ko inde every year second wala fourth
mun ni bulo di ko nde ko folle sinila ba ndele sinilo ne ba
mba say mba foke en koto wole fango yen wulindi yalo famo keta bat yin fanam me yen nati jambi la min nyanta karana ndel be jiko be nyineka ya bulay kara wulo kana ta kilar ya bambalo yo be bulaje koto dindi ngoy si ayala le sino la
Dakar mo man soro la men nyana kada si so na re
la sino le ayala le sino
dal ko korno ko smalo
kilar ya
mo be ko ko mo sa mi do ni ko no kada
denki bruso
am ne ko ro la da ba ro sa no re ba no ba ri woro re de abe je le ba ngamro do man be buljan dala nyara nyar woro ko fendi mo la ba man tayra ba ro sa
bara ke ku folo ajibe no re nya la tamete ku
ngi mun na de
teku
bari ko do famo ke
ja image nani nyambol si zol ne ke je kisi man si zol no le kabun ka nyoma bari nyambu kilo ni manya na kafindi ni nambe ko rozon laga
ngalle limbeta de be nyambo do dilanna
nyara ni ko rim fennat nyara nata
bari famo kada
nata bungono tammi bungono nyara ngando ko mele ko ke baru nganda ni pelo landi jak
iyo awa la
bungono bismillah bisu diara
pendulala yefu ngotanka sina dulu tanka korota korota
Hello viewers and listeners out there. Welcome to our 6th Integrated Studies Science lessons for LBS grade 4, 5 and 6. And before we move on, we were given an assignment from our first lesson, that is stages in human development. So it is a topic related to this lesson. And before we start, let's just look at some of the possible answers to the assignment questions given. The first question states, state 2 physical characteristics for each stage stated below. The first stage is childhood. State 2 physical characteristics about childhood. And out of the possible answers here, we need 2. So your answers could be any of these 3. The first answer is they have short limbs. We also say they have a tall trunk, that is children under this stage of human development. And third, as they have a sizable head. So if you have any of these, then your answers are correct. And the second one, state 2 physical characteristics about infants or about infants. 1, they have a big head. 2, they have a short trunk. And 3, they are not muscular. So these are some of the possible answers to the question. So if you have 2 out of these 3, you are on track. The third one is adolescence. 2 physical characteristics of adolescence. The first one we say hairs grows on some parts of the body. That is 1. 2, the size of our body changes. And 3, the shape of the body changes. So if you say the shape here would mean developed hips. If you have developed hips, that will fall under the shape of the body changes. If you have broad chest, that one will also fall under the size of our body changes. If you also have hairs grow on the armpits, that will fall on the first sentence given. Okay, this now leads us to the lesson presentation today. And today in this lesson, we will be talking about puberty. This is a stage that takes place in the 3rd stage of human development. This is why before we talk about this lesson, we went to talk about the stages in human development. Out of those 4 stages, one of them, that is the 3rd stage called adolescent stage, we extract it out and then it will lead us to today's discussion about what puberty is. Now I ask, what is puberty? Puberty is the period when we start to see changes in our bodies. When, after birth, as we are growing, we do not notice our body. But at a certain stage in human development, we begin to see changes. We talked about some of these changes, not in detail. So those are the changes we will be talking about today in this presentation. The time we start to see changes in our body is what we refer to as puberty. These changes that takes place in our bodies happens in different ages, in different people. What do we mean by that? For example, if my name is Lamin, I can start seeing changes at the age of 10 years. You can also have a friend, a relative, or somebody who is at the age of 10 and did not start seeing changes in his or her, but will start to see changes at the age of, let's say, 9, or at the age of 12, even at the age of 14. This is why we say these changes happens at ages in different people. Also, it can start very early in some adolescents and may occur late in others. Like here, look at this stage, these ages. 9 here is if changes starts in you at the age of 9, then it starts at a very early stage. Mostly, it starts at the age of changes in our body starts at the age of 9. The earliest stage, changes starts in our body, that is at the age of 9, moving onwards. If it starts in you at the age of 14 years, means it is late when you compare it to my 9 years here. I am at the age of 9 and I start to see changes. You did not see changes up to until you are at the age of 14, then you can call that a late start. If it starts at the age of 15, it is still a late start. If it starts at the age of 10, I can call it an early start. Okay. Shall we proceed? A late start of these changes is nothing to worry. So, if I start to see changes at the age of 9 and you are 14 years old, you did not start to see changes, do not worry. Let it not be a worry to you. If I start to see changes at the age of 9 also, let me not worry. It is the time changes have to start in my body. If it starts at the age of 10, then don't worry. Don't say it is too early. If it starts at the age of 15, don't say it is too late. This has to do with special substances called hormones inside our body. Hormones, you are going to talk about them, or we will be discussing about them when we, remember this is level 4, grade 4, 5, and 6. So we are not going to look at it in detail. It will only come when we come to grade the upper basic or senior secondary school. Okay? Let's proceed now. Let's study this picture. If you are watching, let's study these pictures and try to talk about some of the changes that we can figure out in the pictures or images before us. Okay, we have on the far left hand side of the screen, if you are viewing, we have a picture or an image of a girl, and on the far right hand side of the screen, it is a picture of a boy. Okay, so we now ask ourselves, what changes do we notice at puberty? These changes we are talking about, what are some of those changes that we notice at puberty stage? These are general changes, both in boys and in girls. Then, after naming the changes we notice at puberty, we will now come to talk about them separately, that is in boys and in girls. But here, let's talk about the general changes that happens both in boys and in girls. First, we say that the size and shape. The size and shape of the body changes. Yes. At the age of 6 and somebody at the age of 18, if you look at their body, or at the age of 6, if you look at the size of your body compared to to your body at the age of 16, 17, normally you realize that there are changes that has come up. Second to the point, hairs, that is the second changes we notice at puberty. Hairs start to grow. Hairs start to grow on some parts of our body. This is another change that we notice. Before, hairs were not coming up or growing, but now we start to see changes on certain parts of the body. 3, the voice changes. Whether a boy or a girl, at puberty, we start to these changes in our body also takes place. That is the voice. Our voice changes. 4th, the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we behave may also change. We have it here. Will be the way we think, the way we think may change, the way we feel also may equally change, and the way we behave. Behavior here, like shy. At childhood stage, that shy will not be in you. But as time goes on, like let's say, for example, at the age of 2, 3, 4, you can even walk out or take shower. After taking shower, you walk out of the room, and then meeting with people, you don't even notice that, you don't tend to show that shy. You are not ashamed. But as changes start to occur in your body, shy also come your way. More so when it has to do with exposing part of your body to others. And even sometimes when you meet with like women, and when they meet with, or girls, when girls meet with boys, sometimes there is always that shy in them. The way we feel also, these are, they just occur in our body. They don't just, you don't just go and pick it. They occur in our body. They just come due to the hormones in our body. These changes occur, like the way we feel. Sometimes you are stressful, or when a girl talks to you, at times you smile. This has to do with the way you feel. And after that smile, if your fellow friend, let's say a boy, comes and start talking to you or playing with you, you are angry. That has to do with what? The way you feel. This is also another change that takes place in us. Thinking. To think. At times, these changes also happens in our body. You sit and be thinking of a girl, or girls thinking of boys. We now proceed. Now, let's look at the physical changes in boys. These are changes both in boys and in girls. Now, let's look at the physical changes, the ones that we can see when you look at a boy. A boy at puberty stage. After, we will also talk about the change, some of the changes inside our body. Can one give us the first physical or changes in boys? looking at the screen, we can see a boy and an grown-up man. Let's try to compare these two. It will help us a lot to come up with some of the physical changes in boys. One, we say armpit and pubic hairs. Arm, if you raise the arm, you see hands there. Pubic has to do with hairs around the private parts. So you can see that this is one of the physical changes in boys. It can be seen. It is not hidden inside. It is seen with our naked eye. So this is the first in boys. 2, look at the chest. It is broad. Broad chest. It is also another physical change in boys. 3, they also have what we call beard. Hairs start to grow on the lower jaw. Let's stop here and talk about some of the changes that takes place inside the body of adolescent. And this, looking at the screen, these are some of the we have about the physical changes in boys. The first one, broad chest. Okay, we have beard. 3, pubic and armpit hairs. And if we are to add one, if you look at their sex organs, they are enlarged. So that is another physical feature or changes in boys. Now we talk about the physical changes in girls. First, we say they have developed the breast starts to develop. 2, like in boys, they have a broad chest. So in girls, they have broad hips. So the hips are broadened. And 3, they also start to see hairs under their armpits. So as in boys, girls also have or realize armpit and pubic hairs. So here, these are the 3 general physical changes in girls. Now we shall proceed on to other changes. But before we talk about those changes, we believe that during puberty, important changes take place inside the body of girls and boys. Yes, these are the physical changes. This is to tell us that these are not the only changes in boys and girls at puberty. Other changes also takes place inside their bodies. For example, in boys, the testes start to produce what is called sperm. This is just to have like an example of what we are just talking about here. Okay, so if these are the testes here, at puberty stage, the testes here start to produce what we call sperm in boys. That is inside the body. Another changes in puberty. Secondly, boys also sometimes lose sperm from the body, and this is called a wet dream. That is, while sleeping, you realize a dream, and then only to get up and find out that part of your body or the clothes you are putting on, part of it is soaked with the semen, that is sperm. That is what you call a wet dream. Now we move on to the image proper. That is just to show what I was just explaining here. Now in girls, the changes that takes place inside their body, one of them is the ovaries start to release eggs, and the image is in this form. That's just a funny drawing. So the ovaries here, the ovaries are found here. We will have the picture proper shown on the screen. Here, these are called ovaries in girls. So these ovaries will start to release eggs. Eggs will be produced here, and each month an egg will be released. We will also talk about this point. Secondly, blood is lost from the womb each month. Here, this is where you have the womb. Every month, blood will flow out. That is another changes that girls experience at puberty stage. This flow of blood every month is what is called menstruation. Others will call it a period. Menstruation occurs in a woman once every month when she is not going to have a baby. When I say when she is not going to have a baby, I will use one general term, that is when she is not pregnant. We will talk about this before the end of this presentation. When she is not going to have a baby, every month the woman will experience a flow of blood from the womb passing out. When this flow of blood occurs in girls at puberty, it lasts for 4 to 5 days each month. And when it occurs, they need to use sanitary used to absorb the flow of blood during menstruation. And an image is shown there. This is to show what I was just saying, menstruation, the flow of blood. When blood flows, this is what may occur. And if it occurs, it is nothing to worry. So you can see the kind of sanitary towels I am talking of here. These are the towels used to absorb the flow of blood when you are on period. This is another sign also. You can see the girl is bearing one of her hands on the belly, showing that she's feeling pain. So while you are on menstruation, you also feel pain. These are changes that happens in that girls also experience at this stage or at puberty stage. Shall we proceed? We went on further to say, when a man and a woman sleep together, a man and a woman, under this stage. When they sleep together, that is when they have sex, they can have a baby. It is possible for them to have a baby. How is this possible? It is possible because at puberty, we said the testes start to produce what is called sperms. In women, the ovaries start to release eggs. So if a man and a woman happen to sleep together, the sperm will be released from the man and meet the egg in a woman, in a woman's womb. This is the womb. This cannot happen if a man and a woman do not sleep together. So when this sperm gets into the woman's womb and meets an egg there, then the sperm will fertilize. It will go into, penetrate into the egg, and when sperms are released, millions of them are released at the same go. And they will swim to meet an egg. The first to meet an egg will penetrate into an egg and then start to fertilize it. When this happens, then the woman is pregnant and will need special care. Look at the image. That is the image of an egg, and around it you can see sperm cells. And looking at those sperm cells, it is erased, but the one in front lands on the egg, and when it lands, it forces its head inside the egg, and once it forces inside the egg, then it will start, fertilization will start, and then the rest of the sperms will not have access because one of the sperm cell has entered into the egg to fertilize it. This is what will result to the development, and then this fertilization will result to the formation of a baby, I will call it. And after 9 months, that baby will be given birth to. This is what we were. You see, if you are viewing also, on the far left, the sperm rushing to fertilize an egg are shown, and when that happens after fertilization, after some months from fertilization here, you will see something what is going to result is what is seen on the screen on the far right. That is a woman, a picture or an image of a pregnant woman. So it is not advisable to start this process whenever we start to see changes in our body. It is very unsafe for children at the age of 9 to 21 years, as it is stated in one of the presentations that talks about stages in human development. Now, here is an advice for us. Adolescents are therefore advised not to have sex with anybody if they want to be educated and healthy. So the best time to have babies is when you are married at maturity stage. You wait for this stage in life and then be married. If not, your education may be hampered. Your health also may be hampered, because if you are still young, at the age of 9, your body is not yet very strong to be able to undergo all pregnancy that is carrying the baby and so on. Before we end this presentation, I will leave us with an assignment to try before the next lesson presentation. And the first question reads, state 3 changes in boys at puberty. State 3 changes in boys at puberty. So I need 3 out of the lots. And 2, give 2 physical changes in girls at puberty. When I say changes and physical changes, they are not the same. There is a slight difference. So number 1, state 3 changes in boys at puberty. Number 2, give 2 physical changes in girls at puberty. I thank you all for watching and listening. Meet you again in our next lesson presentation. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you all.
Kaas paw bi jeex na depuis démba xettali ma rek ni jaay nga jëndal ma kaas paw balaa yére yi di wow dama passé
fii amoo fi